Hello everybody. Today we'll be doing a pre-op inspection on the Avant compact articulating loader. It is very important to do a thorough inspection every day of the equipment before using it. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down into three sections. First is going to be a visual walk around of the equipment. Second is going to be an inspection of the compartment areas, checking fluids, the engine and all that stuff. Third is going to be an inspection of the operator's area. So let's get started. So the first part of the pre-op inspection is a visual walk around of the loader itself. What we're looking for are things out of the ordinary, visible damage to the loader itself. So what I like to do is kind of start at the bottom and work my way up. So at the bottom here, checking the tires to make sure that they're not flat. Also make sure that all your lug nuts are properly secured. While we're down here too, what we're looking for is any types of fluids that might be leaking from the machine. Another thing you want to look at too closely is the articulation point. We don't want any types of rocks or sticks or debris caught in there. After doing the inspection on the lower half of the loader and the articulation point, we need to inspect the boom itself. So starting with the attachment coupling plate, we want to make sure that these pins can move up and down freely. The next thing that we're going to take a look at are all the pins and bushings, making sure that they're tight. Also, these need to be greased daily. All the locations of these fittings can be found in the operator's manual. Next thing we're going to take a look at is the inner and outer boom. We want to make sure that there's no rocks or dirt or debris keeping the boom from retracting. Now, the hoses on the booms, we're looking for visible damage to these hoses. Also, any type of hydraulic oil that might be leaking from the fittings themselves. Across the top of the boom, all the way to the multi-connector. Now, the multi-connector, same thing. We're looking for visible damage to the multi-connector or any type of oil that might be leaking from the fittings. The next thing we want to take a look at are all three hydraulic cylinders. What we're looking for on these are any type of visible damage to the cylinder. The next thing we want to take a look at to make sure that none of the seals on the cylinders are leaking oil. Lastly, I'd like to take a look at just the hoses themselves to make sure that none of the fittings are leaking going to the cylinders. The next step in the pre-op inspection, we're going to take a look at the engine compartment. First thing I like to do is check the engine oil level. Now moving along to the air filter housing, first step is to remove the cap. Now every one of these loaders have an inner and outer air filter. These should be inspected weekly. Looking down on the top of the engine now, what we're looking for in here is any type of sticks or debris that might be caught in the engine area itself. Also, we're going to take a look at the belt. Make sure it's not missing, damaged, or loose. Next thing we're going to look at also is the fan blade itself. We want to make sure that none of the fins are missing on the fan. The radiator should also be inspected and cleaned weekly. Lastly, we're going to take a look at the water separator just to make sure that there's no water inside of the fuel system. Also, take a look at the antifreeze overflow bottle. We just want to make sure it's also not low on coolant. After inspecting the engine compartment, we're going to check the hydraulic oil level. So with the boom all in the up position, we want to make sure that the fluid level is at the bottom line on the dipstick. Now moving along to the operator's area. So the last part of the pre-op inspection is the operator's area. The first thing we want to do is make sure that the operator's manual is in the loader. Once we are in the operator's seat, the first thing we want to check is the seat belt. Make sure that it's functioning properly. Now, turn the key in the on position and start the loader. And what we're looking for is any type of indicator lights that might be on the dashboard. Now that there's no indicator lights, let's check the joystick function, making sure that we have full movement. After the function of the joystick has been checked, just making sure that all of our switches are working, parking brake, working lights, or any other option that might be on the loader. Now that the pre-op inspection is complete, the Avant is ready for use. If you have any more questions, please refer to the operator's manual or visit us at AvantTecnoUSA.com.